Hey guys, Muncheez here, and today we're going to talk about the whole Brelshaza prep thing in as quickly as possible. So, first off, I want to start by saying that this does not require winning the auction on any of your characters. You will be gaining the Brelshaza pieces at the same rate. You will be getting one piece a week as long as your alts are doing 1 through 4 the first week, and your main does 1 through 6. It doesn't matter, you will still be getting one piece a week until you start saving for the weapon, in which case your main will get the weapon 1 week before your alts do. Because on the second week, your alts will be clearing 1 through 6 if you successfully hone the other piece that you craft on the second week. So the only difference in number of horns that your main has, or whatever characters you do 1 through 6 with, will be 16 horns, which is nowhere near enough to buy an armor piece. So in this first section right here is the best place to park your characters. If you are a player that's a little further behind and you don't have a 1500 plus character, I would stop at one of these spots, because after getting to about 1490, honing past 1490 costs an insane amount of resources. I'm talking about millions and millions of silver, almost a million like honor shards, and it's a lot. So unless you're there already, as of the time I'm putting out this video, do not try to go over just to do gates 1 and 6, because you will in due time, after clearing the first week 1 through 4, you'll be able to do 1 and 6 the next week. Now, as far as the piece of gear that you will be buying, if you are playing a support, as in a paladin or a bard, you will buy the chest first, and if you're playing a DPS class, usually you start with the gloves first. So where it says transfer recommended plus 20 piece, plus 21 piece, whatever, that is the piece of gear that you are going to transfer to Brelshaza gear and hone it to gain a huge boost in item level. And now onto the bottom portion. So if you have a character above 1500, I feel like there's a bit of a dead zone between 1495 and 1510, because it costs a lot to get to 1510 from 1495. So my recommendation would be to go to the Lost Art calculator. I'll leave a link to the pages I have behind this notepad in the description below. So the best thing to do is to go to the Maxwell calculator, see how much resources you need. So if you're one of the many players that stopped at 1505, take into account how much it would take to get to 1510 or 1512.5. And just take into account how much it would take. And if you have the resources available, I highly recommend going to 1510 or 1512.5 if you can afford it, on top of the 2 months that we have to farm to transfer the 5-to-1 ratio for the Brelshaza materials. So I'll leave a link to all 3 of these down in the description below. This first page is like the Brel prep kind of page. Don't get baited by this gate 1 through 6 week 1 strategy thing. You don't need to have plus 22s on all your gear. I don't even know why they have it up there like that, but that is, I guess, a method. If you have plus 22s like that and then 21 set on one of the armor pieces, you can just transfer it and you'll be 1520, but that is insanely expensive. So there are more efficient ways to do it if you go by the notepad that I had open in the video earlier. And the next one is probably the most important one. It's the Maxwell calculator. So use this to determine what parking spot you want to be at, if you can afford it, and how many materials you're going to need to hone the new piece of Brelshaza gear. On the Maxwell calculator, you can change the region to Korea, and you can see how much it takes to hone a piece of Brelshaza gear. And this last one pretty much just tells you what your gear ends up being after you transfer it over to Brel gear. And with that number, you will find out what you need to hone to on the Brelshaza pieces when you change the Maxwell calculator to Brelshaza gear. So the most important piece of information that you should know is if you are running all your alts at 1490 and parking them around there, it's going to cost you roughly 460 to 470,000 honor shards. If you can't afford that, just feel free to push them back a week. I might end up doing that on some of my alts. It drastically reduces the amount of honor shards. It takes it down by around 100,000 or so. So it'll be much easier to get into gate 6 on the third week as opposed to the second. But if you have any questions about prepping any kind of characters for Brel, and I didn't cover it in the video, feel free to ask me in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.